6. Circle that date. 9 days from now, the college basketball season kicks off.
And for me, I think that shows you how much versatility and depth there is in college basketball. It's unpredictable. Anyone can jump out and be a favorite. And I think we're seeing that on the men's side with individual players. There's not one clear-cut guy who's going to be that player this season. I think there's a lot of people with a lot of different things to prove that can be that player, but we don't know who that's going to be, whether that's team or player. So there's a lot to look out for this college basketball season.
Folks, I'm Tony P., and she's Stephanie Watts, the 2015 North Carolina Gatorade Player of the Year, UNC Tarheels stand-up women's basketball program, and the 10th overall pick in the 2021 WNBA draft. And today we're going coast to coast and around the world in hoops with Stephanie Watts. Stephanie, coast to coast, let's start with men's college basketball. I know you looked across the landscape. Who are your top players from any conference? Let's talk about it coming into this season.
So, well, I think this college class is really diverse. There's a lot of guys that can stand out for that number one spot this year. I think my top pick for the number one college player and potentially the number one draft pick for this 2024 class is Justin Edwards from Kentucky. A 6'7" wing with a lot of upside, a 3-level scorer. I think that makes him the most diverse player in this class. He has a lot of versatility not only on offense, but on the defensive side too. Being able to guard multiple positions gives him a lot of upside. He just has a really smooth game, a quick change of direction, a pull-up on the dime, and at 6'7", he's able to shoot over his defender. So I like his game a lot, and I think he has a lot of upside to be that potential number one pick. I also really, really like Isaiah Collier. I think he also has some things to prove, as do a lot of players in this class, but he's a very just great point guard. He plays his game really well. He gets to his spots. He has speed. He has handles. I think what he needs to also show is his three-point ability a little bit better this season. What I think is he's not the most explosive and athletic guard, so I think he needs to show that he can really shoot the ball at a high clip from beyond the arc. So
I think you're on record, correct me if I'm wrong, you're one of 2 players that is on record of having a quadruple double in high school. You own 3 of those of the 4 ever recorded. Are you looking at these players through your lens of, hey, this is how I did it, and they remind me, they remind me of me? Or is it you seeing different things about them that you like?
No, not what reminds me of my game in particular, but right now, I think I was looking at more so what's going to translate to that next level. I think all of these players will have a really good college career this season. This season particularly. Zach Edey, who I did not mention, will have a phenomenal, dominant college season this year. But what I was looking at most is whose game's going to translate to that next level is what I was looking for in making my college rankings for this upcoming season and picking those 3 as my top 3. So I think I was looking for dynamics as in speed, athleticism, size, and upside on right now. Because obviously, although I didn't mention him, Zach Edey is going to have a great college and finish out his college career extremely dominant. But I just don't know that his game is going to translate to the next level, which is the reason I think he came back to school.
All right, Steph, let's transition into the teams. Let's talk about the teams right now. Only 1 blue blood in the Final Four with UConn last year. The other non-blue blood said, listen, it's 2023 and beyond. We're here. And so, question for you, do you think this trend is going to continue with the non-blue bloods making it all the way to the Final Four?
I can't say I do. I think that Duke really has the potential to make a run this season with a 27-9 record last season, although they finished a little bit sooner than they would have liked in the NCAA. I think that they have the roster continuity this year to make a deep run. And with that being said, they have a star-studded class coming in to complement those players. So with a veteran leader like Jeremy Roach leading this team, a senior point guard, which is not always common for that Duke Blue Devils team, who's always getting a star-studded class and doesn't doesn't have the best roster continuity in typical years. I think having that senior leadership mixed with that star-studded class and then a star-studded sophomore class to complement that with 2 players that could have left and will likely be lottery picks for this season. So I think Duke has the mixture of experience, youth, and talent that it takes to make that championship run. So I think that makes them definite contenders for this upcoming season.
Well, the question then becomes their toughness. So we'll have to check on that because Tennessee definitely tested that last year in the NCAA tournament. Now, you like another team.
I do.
Another team. And let's talk about it.
I like Kansas. I like what they're bringing to the table this year. Last season, it was a bit different what they did. They went small ball. This year, they're looking to play bully ball. They have a deep roster, which is going to give them the strength to make that run because obviously it's not about the first 2. It's about your last players coming in, giving those players minutes off the bench. That's what it's going to take to make that championship run. I think with arguably one of the best transfers in the portal and Hunter Dickinson coming in, I think he was that piece that tipped them to make them championship contenders for this team, for this league in this season. So I think they definitely have what it takes to make that push. All the pieces are coming together for Kansas as well.
Absolutely. And we like KJ Adams. Don't know what position he play, but he is just everywhere. He's super athletic. And you're right, with Hunter Dickinson coming in, if they can find a point, okay, I wish they could transport Devon Dotson back, right, with this team. But I tell you, they find a point, and you may very well see Kansas in this year's Final Four. Now, folks, we're going to bounce over to the women. And before we do, special thanks to Josh Springer. As he held us down with the show last week, he had a wonderful interview with last week's guest. That was Coach Honey Brown, the head women's basketball coach for your UNC Asheville Bulldogs. Fantastic conversation, folks. I encourage you to visit ESPNCLT.com, the pod channel, to catch that interview. In the meantime, here's Josh Springer's top women's basketball games to watch in the next few months. Afterwards, we're going to get Steph's thoughts on some of the top women basketball players coming into this year's season.
Well, let's start off with November 6th. Notre Dame and Coach Ivy and Dawn Staley's South Carolina Gamecocks will be rolling into Paris, France. Yep, you heard that right. Imagine being an 18-year-old, your first college game, like Malaysia Full Willie from South Carolina, and you're lacing it up overseas in France. Next up, November 9th, you can catch Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes against Virginia Tech at the Spectrum Center right here in Charlotte. 2 teams that went to the Final Four a year ago, 2 teams with major dreams of cutting down the nets this year. Next, November 12th, that's Sunday, Maryland, top 10 preseason pick traveling down to Columbia. Tiffany Mitchell, the pride of Providence Day girls basketball, her jersey is going in the rafters that evening. She was a guest on the Pro Reports with us this summer, as you'll remember. Next up, November 24th, after you've filled your belly on Thanksgiving, we can watch UConn, Gino Auriemma's crew, versus Corey Close and the UCLA Bruins. They're a contender to win it all this year with Lauren Betts, the Stanford transfer. And oh, by the way, they're tipping in the Cayman Islands. I hope those coaches can keep the kids focused on the main thing, hooping. The last one, our top 5 matchups of November, November 30th, Virginia Tech, a Final Four participant a year ago, travels to the Bayou, down to see Kim Mulkey and the LSU Tigers. They are the defending champs. They bring back Angel Reese. Kim Mulkey, fresh off a 10-year, $36 million contract signed in the offseason. I can't wait.
Listen, for the people that's been under a rock, they need to understand what's going on in women's college basketball right now. It's growing, and it's on the rise.
It's on the rise. It's jumping. There's a lot of traction right now. It's exciting, and there's a lot of players causing that excitement. So,
well, let's talk about them.
Sure.
Let's talk about them. Who are the ones at the top of your list?
Right. So I think obviously on the men's side, not so clear-cut. On the women's side, I think it's clear as day. Caitlin Clark is the most dynamic player in women's college basketball and is a generational talent in women's college basketball. We haven't seen this type of player in a really long time, I'll say, in women's college basketball. So she brings that excitement to the game where you're excited to see her team play. and she's winning doing it. So I think her style of play is she's a winner. She's going to make everyone around her better. But I mean, her range, I think, is something that goes, undeniable and has to be noted. The range on her shot, the way she can expand the floor, but the way she can make other people around her better. Her passing ability, her floor spacing ability, it just makes her the most dynamic player in the class to me.
Yeah. So, folks, like I said, if you've been under a rock, you heard of Caitlin Clark, I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to have to check your hoop credentials. Now, in addition to Caitlin Clark, who else do you like?
So, not so controversial because she's proved herself time and time again. She's just played less games than the typical college player by her year, and that's Paige Beckers from UConn, right? Paige Beckers has a chip on her shoulder coming in after a torn ACL, coming back from that, showing what she showed in her rookie campaign. We know what she can do on the court. We know. But coming back from several injuries, I'm not doubting her ability. I'm still putting her in that 2 spot. And garnering her not coming off an injury, she's in the conversation with Caitlin Clark. I know it's going to take time for her to really get back to herself after coming back from that injury, but I know she will and will be even better. So I'm excited to see Paige Beckers play. If you haven't seen her mid-range stopping on the dime is phenomenal. Her playmaking ability is phenomenal. Her ability to come off and play off the ball almost in a Steph Curry type way is phenomenal. She does it all. She does it in a way where she's making the players around her better. I love her game. I can't say enough good things about Paige Beckers.
Yeah, and a lot of folks got Gino back in the Final Four this year. He's been a little upset that he hadn't made it over the past few years, right? I think this is new territory for him. I don't know. Help me. I may be mistaken. I think last year was the first year he didn't either make it to the Final Four or something to that nature. It was
and it snapped a lot for him in the UConn program, and definitely a shocker. But I think this year they're right back in it. No doubt about it with the cast that they have this year around Paige.
So let's talk about the third one.
So not so quietly kept, but quietly kept. I don't know if people have her as high as the third best player in the nation, but I'm going Rickea Jackson from Tennessee. I think her speed, athleticism, ability to score in the open court, but ability to get to her spots. So she's not someone that's just going to post up on the down low block. If you give her the ball on the wing, she's going to get to her spots and she's scoring. She has that one leg turnaround fade away that is impossible to guard. And a lot of her shots are just, the defense can't stop it. It's on her if she makes it or not. So I think, to me, she's one of the most sneaky, underrated players in that class. A highly rated player that's still, to me, a bit underrated. I think her athleticism and speed is going to really show a lot of people a lot of things this season, and I'm excited to see her growth for this season, for sure.
Here's the toughest question of them all. You just named 4 outstanding players. Which one of those 4 are you choosing first in the W?
If I'm a GM starting a team right this second.
Yeah, they're coming to Charlotte. Let's go ahead and put that out there. They're moving to Charlotte. They're starting a new franchise. You get the first pick.
I'm going Caitlin Clark. Right this minute, I'm going Caitlin Clark. Paige Becker is coming off a few injuries. That's tough. And to me, there's no question that she's going to bounce back from these injuries and have a great season. But to me, Caitlin Clark is a generational talent. She's going to bring excitement, but wins to a team too. She's going to change an organization. She's a piece that you can really build around and have a solid foundation with just her right there. So I'm taking Caitlin Clark.
At Caramont Health, we put your care first. Our advanced technologies and award-winning teams are here to serve you. That's the commitment we make and the promise we keep. Caramont Health. Care first.